Cowboy Jim, thank you so much for turning this on. I'll try not to allow it to be too long. Just watching CTV News in a break from Yellowstone. Thankfully, Yellowstone have fairly long commercial breaks. I can watch CTV. In actual fact, I ponder the idea of the value of watching. But CTV is the best we have in Canada here, other than Fox News when they send a reporter. The mayor of Ottawa, not my kind of person, has just suggested that all the vehicles that were towed should now be sold. And the proceeds from the sale of the Freedom Convoy truckers' expression of total discontent, rejection of Trudeau's arrogance and the Liberal Party, for all that matters, and the NDP, who enable the Liberals to stay in power. And the mayor of Ottawa, I haven't liked that man from the very first that I watched him because he reported such ill-conceived ideas as to the idea sure as hell wasn't a fact. The idea that the trucker convoy were racist. Every ism in the book. And Trudeau implemented the War Measures Act, and of course, all the people in politics, not all, thank God, there are a few who are thinking for their own selves. But so many of the local little politicians down there in Ottawa are backing up the ill-conceived idea purported by Trudeau and implemented and followed through that all you need do to a Canadian is take away their livelihood, take away their ability to feed their family, bankrupt them, seize their accounts, eliminate their insurance, revoke their driver's licenses, revoke and eliminate whose name it is that is on the ownership of their trucks. And on the absolute power of the government, dictatorial, narcissistic, but in that arrogance of position, place, wealth, now the like of the Ottawa mayor is causing to foment a hatred from the Freedom Convoy, the people who were simply just tired of COVID. They watched the science, they watched the countries opening up, and they wanted our country to open up. And Trudeau, in his sin, I can think of no better word, sin. Yes, of arrogance, self-righteousness, yes, all those things. And he invoked the War Measures Act. And now the government, though they were wrong to do so, they did not need to invoke that. All they needed to do was to implement the enforcement of the law. But moreover, over way beyond that. Way beyond when the truckers first pulled into Ottawa. Trudeau could have talked with them. He could have said, well, if we remove all masks, and it is a proven fact that only N95s work, and another type, but it is N95. I've used them all my life. They're really wonderful. Remove the mask mandate, remove the need for vaccinations. I mean, I'm not allowed to talk about COVID, so I won't. I like being on this. But all the people had to do was acquiesce to the government. Can you imagine a man and or a strong-willed woman acquiescing to a bunch of pussies who most likely never worked a day in their life except for a few? A few had to work their way up through the system in order to honor the country, in order to fulfill the desire of Canadians. I don't want to be presumptuous, but you God-forsaken politicians who have forgotten that you give answer to the people who voted you in. Now you sit in your arrogance and your narcissism and all those things you condemn the Freedom Convoy for being, and you determine who has the right to make a living for their families. People say, well, the protesters should have known. Listen, you have a Canadian who protests, you have got a problem, son. You've got a problem. We don't protest, we're polite. The War Measures Act, implemented by that something less than a man, Prime Minister, black-faced, arrogant, narcissistic, useless. You demean fellow Canadians. You are not God. Justin Trudeau, you are not God. Don't pretend to be. Conservatives, NDP, if you have got any guts, you can bring the Liberal government down. And you should. You should. My prayer is that Freedom Convoy truckers will use wisdom and common sense. Behave. Be polite. My prayer is also that Canadians as a whole will find some other way of helping the truckers. I mean, go find mayor. And then the other group, that the mayor and former police chief, they were so proud that they had gotten them to seize, $16-17 million of donated money, donated by people all across North America. And the reason they donated it was because they believed in freedom. You're watching the beginning, and this is only the beginning because of the stupidity of our government. The Freedom Convoy, it will go all around the world. I hope there are more governments brought down, as I pray that Trudeau's arrogance, is evil intent upon Canadian people. It is my prayer that that fatherless child is brought down, that he never be able to even hold an elected position as a dog catcher in Canada. He does not deserve it. Well, for a Sunday afternoon, I say God bless to you and thank you for the privilege and the honor of allowing me to express my opinion. It is my prayer that you have an opinion premised on information with a clarity that is beyond talking points, a clarity of understanding that is beyond a liberal perspective, an NDP perspective. God bless Canada. May we sing, O Canada, with true hearts, with a true heart attitude that will honor God and our fellow Canadian people. Canadians, don't know how you're going to do it, but you have to stand against this evil of political narcissism. Truly. God bless. God bless.